Madison played multiple roles in the adoption of the Constitution, which is a process which effectively begins in the fall of 1786 and culminates in the summer of 1788, and then has an important sequel with the adoption of amendments that begin in the First Federal Congress of 1789. Madison's the one historical actor who was most deeply involved in every phase of the original summoning of the convention, the meetings that took place at Philadelphia in the spring and summer of 1787, the politics of the ratification over the next year or so after the convention adjourns, and then finally the adoption of amendments beginning in 1789. And I think more than that, he's the one actor who worked hardest to shape the agenda of the convention. That doesn't mean that the document the Constitutional Convention produced is simply emerged full-formed from his brain, because obviously he didn't, and Madison felt that he had lost some of the critical points that he was most anxious to attain. Things like having a proportional scheme of representation in both houses of Congress, or giving the national government what he called a negative on all state laws. There are a number of proposals that Madison makes, and to which he seems to have been deeply attached, where in fact he fails to carry his colleagues at Philadelphia along with him. Yet at the same time, it's always been very hard for me to understand how the Constitution could have been adopted in the way it was if Madison had not taken upon himself the critical role and function of trying to shape the agenda of the convention. And in my own view as a historian, it's really quite consequential that Madison took that labor upon himself, that he set out to lay a fairly coherent plan, set of articles in front of the other delegates. He was certainly the best prepared of all the 55 men who show up at one time or another to meet at Philadelphia in 1787. And so even though he loses some of the things that matter most, it seems to me the overall character of the Constitution, and just the fundamental character of the national government, is deeply reflective of the ambitions and the agenda that he formed going into the meeting.